So there, pretty well by definition, you're going to have a disparity in ability between a teacher and a student. You know, however much. On occasion, it might go the other way around. You have somebody studying with somebody for whatever reason, but they're more advanced. But generally speaking, you're a student of whoever's teaching because the teacher manifests those lessons better and can pass them on better. That they are better at it. They're not better people. They're not better at everything, but they're better at this. Okay. So generally, and I don't know what the rate is, but let's just say it's something. And so it's perfectly natural to think, oh, you do that better than me. Or the other way of saying it, I don't do it as well as you. Or, okay, perfectly reasonable, natural, and expected. But there's an insight that I've had that people don't always get, which is that they don't always get on their own. I think they get it after I do this lesson. What the teacher, if this is the difference, right? And of course that's an average, certain things that you're really, really good at, or the teacher is getting less good at because they're arthritis or something, this can change. So this, of course, is like an average, right? But what the teacher is going to spend time sharing with you or working on or correcting is going to be stuff that you're worse at. That's what needs help. That's what needs correction. That's where the focus needs to be. That sort of totally makes sense. So even if our average is here, you might kind of experience this gulf, right? Mm-hmm. But the teacher, of all the things they know, this is their average. They're sort of here, wherever that is. And that means necessarily that there's some stuff they've forgotten, never got right, sometimes get confused, have trouble with this week. Lately, since the back is acting out, they haven't done it. Now that they're older and fatter, they don't even do that or whatever. And there's probably stuff we would hope that the teacher is much better at than they used to be, because if they're a teacher, they're probably really working this and doing it. So that's why their average is where it is. But of the things that the teacher sees that you're here, right, like let's work on those. When I'll do it like this, so it's a few things, right, that are lower than average or bringing the average down. Of those things, what the teacher also is less than good at, those are not going to be the things that the teacher is going to point out to you, right? So they're not so good at them, right? And that might be conscious, it might be subconscious, right? And so of those things, a few things the teacher might not spend time on, or certainly willingly, or often, or deeply, right? And then of the remaining things, the things that the teacher actually feels that they have improved on, or they're always especially good at, or flexible, or have worked on recently, or had special training in, or whatever. Those are probably the things that they're more likely to pick up on and say, hey, let's work on that. Look how good it can look. Look how easy it should be. It's just this, just do this. And you're like, oh my God. And they're like, oh, look, it's so easy for me, So the average differential is this. The things that are going to be talked about quite often are this. But then of those, it's really going to be this. So what happens is the student can very easily develop a false sense of the teacher's specialness or mastery. And of course, usually once they tell that to the teacher, they paint it on the outside of their school, and it's master so-and-so school. Everybody tells me, well, what are you sharing? What are you focusing on? What are you correcting? So just a thing to pay attention to is where you see the gap. We could probably look for a different gap between you and I in different things. But I'm not like, as the teacher in this case, I'm not likely to point it out. Not necessarily because I'm hiding it, but like I don't feel as comfortable doing that, or that hurts me too much, or I don't practice it much. And it's not what I notice as big a gulf. So I might not bring my attention to it. So we could take this whole lesson and say, well, let's look at those other things and shift the dynamics of teachings, that's fine. But my point here is just when you think, oh, she is way better than me, it's not on everything, it's on this, and here's why. Because these separations happen for a variety of reasons, not just the very simple, they're a better human being, I suck kind of thing that people might sort of take in. Okay?
Mm-hmm.